Alright. So, classic Hollywood narratives is a style of filmmaking and producing films roughly from the 1910s to the 1960s. The style of editing was to make the film recording, the camera recording, and the audio recording kind of not call any attention to itself. So, in other words, it's all about the story.
Another point is that it hardly started with the release of a jazz singer in 1927.
The movies were made by studios, and they were all about the story, as where before it might not.
Film of the classical Hollywood cinema era was heavily influenced by the ideas of the Renaissance. And another focal point was the idea of a resurgence of mankind.
Also, classical narration was like the main progression of the film at the time.
Almost all, if not all, of the films of this time were shot in a linear format. This was because non-linear films call attention to the cuts and take away the invisibility the audience has with the film. Now is what we're going to show you in the classical Hollywood narrative was typically set up in 3 acts, Act 1, 2, and 3, and now we're going to show you clips and have some people talk about the examples of the clips that we have up here.
So the first clip will be Casablanca, the traditional introduction.
Coming of the Second World War, many eyes in imprisoned Europe turned hopefully or desperately toward the freedom of the Americans. Lisbon became the great embarkation point, but not everybody could get to Lisbon directly. And so a tortuous, roundabout refugee trail sprang up. Paris to Marseille. Across the Mediterranean to Oran. Then by train or auto or foot across the rim of Africa to Casablanca in French Morocco. Here the fortunate ones, through money or influence or luck, might obtain exit visas and scurry to Lisbon. And from Lisbon to the New World. But the others wait in Casablanca, and wait, and wait, and wait.
To all officers, 2 German couriers carrying important official documents murdered on train from Oran. Murderer and possible accomplices headed for Casablanca. Round up all suspicious characters and search them for stolen documents. Important.
So basically what that was, it was beginning of Casablanca. It was setting up, the whole plot, basically, the setting, it's set in Casablanca, everyone's trying to escape to the New World. You kind of give a sense of who the main characters might be, fugitives on the run, whatnot. So basically that's what classic Hollywood narrative was, They didn't really make you think too much about, what was happening in the beginning. They kind of spoon-fed you what they were going to be talking about throughout the entire film.
What's that back to?
The middle part of the Hollywood classic narratives are the conflict. Anything that tries to stop the protagonist from reaching his goal.
Yeah, and you'll see in this clip, North by Northwest, he gets dropped off and he occurs problems after problems trying to get to his goal. So this is part of Act 2.
What movie?
This is North by Northwest. obviously trying not to get hit by the airplane, which is interesting. So he keeps struggling, and then the car goes by, and obviously he doesn't stop. So this guy's going through a bunch of struggles trying to get out of this area. And similar other movies, like the movie we watched on the first day of class, just like when the conflict with the murder and them not being able to get away with it and the problems that kept arising from it. So it's just like the typical, like we said earlier, the conflict and the climax of the movie in Act 2.
But it also keeps the story moving forward.
Act 3 is usually where the narrator or a character starts to summarize what happened, why they did what they did, and etc.
Act 3 is where they give the resolution, typically, and not always, obviously, but for the most part, typically in American narrative, classical narratives, they give a resolution, a finite resolution to the story and everything. The clip we're about to watch is from the Maltese Falcon, where they're all in the room towards the end, and they're explaining the situations and adventures and all that have ensued and why the characters have done that.
Captain Jacoby's death was entirely Miss O'Shaughnessy's fault. Tell me what happened. Well, Cardo, as you must have surmised, got in touch with me after he left police headquarters yesterday night or morning. He recognized the mutual advantage of pooling forces. Mr. Cardo is a man of nice judgment. Diplomat was his thought. He saw the notice of its arrival in the papers and remembered he had heard in Hong Kong that Jacoby and Miss O'Shaughnessy were seen together. Well, sir, he saw that notice and, putting two and two together, guessed the truth. She had given the bird to Jacoby to bring here for her. And at that juncture, you decided to slip me a Mickey, huh? There's no place for you in our plan, sir. So we decided to spare ourselves any possible embarrassment. Mr. Cardo, Wilmer and I went to call on Captain Jacoby. We were lucky enough to arrive while Miss O'Shaughnessy was there. In many ways, the conference was difficult, but we finally persuaded Miss O'Shaughnessy to come to terms, or so we thought. We then left the boat and set out for my hotel, where I was to pay Miss O'Shaughnessy and receive the bird. Well, sir, we mere men should have known better. En route, she, Captain Jacoby, and the pot slipped completely through our fingers. It was neatly done, sir. Indeed it was.
You touched off the boat before you left?
No, not intentionally. Though I dare say we, or Wilmer at least, were responsible for the fire. While the rest of us were talking in the cabin, Wilmer went about the boat, trying to find the falcon. No doubt he was careless with matches.
How about the shooting?
We caught up with...
So you kind of get a recap of the whole movie and where you're at now, right before the last scene and everything, in the end of this film. So they were pretty straightforward. They were narrative films, so they were very dialogue, driven and everything throughout the film.
Jacoby was too tough to fall or dropped the falcon. He climbed down the rest of the way, knocked Wilmer over, and ran off. We persuaded, that is the word, sir, we have persuaded Miss O'Shaughnessy to tell us where she had told Captain Jacoby.
we have a little play to present what the 3-act structure is.
Kids demonstrated classic Hollywood.
No, you're good.
Oh, it's
Oh wow, is that the horse? You didn't know.
Oh, wow.
Alright, you ready over there?
Yep. Alright. This is Miss West Chestertonville. She is embarking on a journey out west, as many did in those days, to find some good cheap land and maybe even a husband. Two days later, on their journey,
This is a stick up. Give me all your valuables.
Oh dear, it's me. What's going on?
This is a stick up, ma'am.
Oh, don't mess with my particulars.
Don't worry, I ain't here to
You're scaring off my driver.
Don't fret, I'm here to harm you. What's the first pretty lady like you going anyway?
Well, I'm going to Carson City. My uncle's left me a plot of land down there. I figured I'd go down and till the fields and find myself a husband. You were? Well, what's your name? My name's Miss West Chestertonville.
Well, I'm Jefferson Monroe Jackson Jr. Pleasure to meet you, man.
Well, aren't you sweet? Well, how'd you like to come to Carson City with me?
I'm much obliged, man.
Help me till the land and earn yourself an honest wage.
I would love to, man.
All right, well then let's get on then. Come on.
When the driver.
they drove off into the sunset together and worked to land the rest of their days. I'd like to thank all of you for coming to West Presentation on the 3 acts of classical Hollywood narrative.